Hi, I'm Britt,
And my name is Alissa.
and this is Skeletales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
We do. We also share true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
Heck yeah, we do.
Alissa, what are we talking about today?
Britt, we are talking about the strangest, unusualist, and paranormalistest news stories of 2023.
That's right. Hitting the newsstands, baby.
A recap of sorts. And also, we don't really do that a ton where we delve into the current events of the paranormal and strange and unusual world. So
I know. I was pretty excited to share some stories, actually.
Britt, do you want to tell the first story tonight?
I do. So this starts back, not in 2023, but back in November of 2022. But don't worry, we'll get to 2023. Out of the box. Don't worry. It's a two-parter. The second part's in 20. Just follow me.
Okay, fine.
Stay with me.
Okay, I'll sustained.
Thank you. Back in November of 2022, filmed by security CCTV camera in the Finocchio Sanatorium Care Center in Buenos Aires, Argentina, earlier this year, an eerie clip, which was recorded at 3 a.m., shows the guard sitting at his desk in the reception area when the automatic doors suddenly open all by themselves. The guard proceeds to get up out of his chair and walk over to remove the barrier as though to let someone pass through. Yet the footage shows quite clearly that nobody had entered the building. Even stranger still is the fact that the guard can be seen talking and gesturing, as well as writing something on his clipboard as though having a conversation with someone and noting down their details. Then he walks back, grabs a wheelchair, and appears to motion someone to sit in it. What really makes the whole situation remarkable, however, was the later revelation that the guard himself had apparently witnessed an old woman enter the building at the time. He'd let her through the barrier, spoken to her, and even pulled out a wheelchair for her. It turned out, however, that the woman in question had died the previous day. Now, fast forward to April 2023. A very similar thing seemed to have happened again, this time involving a security guard in a building in Houston, Texas. In the clip, which was filmed by a coworker through the CCTV, the guard can be seen talking and gesturing as though having a conversation with someone in one of the building's corridors. When asked by his coworker over the radio, "Psst, who are you talking to?" "Psst," the guard replied that he had been chatting to a woman named Miss Abigail, who asked him about a man named Mr. Griffin. His coworker quickly pointed out, however, that Miss Abigail had died 2 years prior.
Okay, that reminds me of Sarah, the clairvoyant, who was talking to a deceased security guard or somebody.
It was a deceased person who used to work in the building. She had no idea he was dead. She literally thought that was just meeting in the elevator again.
And security watched that happen. I love that.
That's totally why I picked that story. As I was like, in honor of Sarah.
Amazing. Okay, it was worth it. Allowed, sustained, whatever the formal term of that is.
I've passed.
Nice one. I love it. I love it. Okay.
New story. I'm ready, Alissa.
Okay, I want to just bring up a few things, a few of my favorite news topics of 2023 that are strange and unusual.
Okay.
One, let's revisit the Titanic sub. So back over the summer, there was a sub that took essentially billionaires, down to the bottom of the seafloor to see the Titanic.
Okay.
I want to say there were 4 people on the sub. One was a super stupid billionaire, and then his son. His son didn't really want to go, but then at the last minute went, and then was going to do a Rubik's Cube at the bottom of the ocean. Anyway, it started showing up on news feeds oh, this sub is missing at the bottom of the ocean. The Titanic, they're down there. Oh my gosh, they only have, I don't remember what it was. Let's say 64 hours of oxygen to survive before we find them. So they're trying to find them, looking all over. One newsstand channel had an oxygen countdown in the lower right-hand corner as
they were looking for this.
Oh yeah,
I missed all of that.
And so then there's like this research vessel that actually has some sort of like robot device that can go down and like look for it, because otherwise everything, because of the pressure, will collapse. So they had to wait for this one boat to meet this other research vessel, and everyone's like watching them, and everyone learned a lot about fucking NORAD satellite boat mapping shit during this like intense 64-hour period where everyone's like, oh my God, they need to find these guys and save their lives before they run out of oxygen. Like the thing, it looked like it sucked. They all had to like lay down and pee in a bucket. Like it was rough. So everyone's like sitting there being like, this must suck to know you're running out of oxygen, and will they be able to save you, or this and that. And then this sub was made of fiberglass, and there was supposed to be some system in it where if it sensed or heard the fiberglass breaking, an alarm would sound and they would resurface real quickly and everything. So there was supposed to be like a fail-safe program. And even the owner and founder of this like sub company was on this sub. Everyone is on bated breath for like several days, like 4 days of this, like watching, oh my God, are they going to find these guys? They got to find these guys. Watching the little dots of the fucking boats try to like circle in on the location and calculating the currents. And then finally, on the day, like 3 hours before they were supposed to run out of oxygen, they send this robot down to the bottom of the ocean, and they see debris. They find a debris field. They're like, the sub imploded. Shit.
Like days ago, huh?
Yep. They must have, but at that moment they were sure that it happened. But James Cameron, or Cameron Crowe, the director,
JC,
they like interview him because he's done a lot of these dives, and he like built his own like pressurized like vehicle to like go underwater to look at the Titanic and everything. He's like, yeah, well, the Navy heard the implosion like right away when it happened. So I'm not really sure why like they let the whole public like think this happened. And it's like, everyone's like, wait, what the fuck?
Everyone was duped.
Dude, like 4 days, like 3 or 4 days. And then that makes you wonder, like, that's exactly how fucking like conspiracy theories happen. Like, they heard the implosion happen. They heard it and they knew, and still let everyone like just fucking hope and pray. Number 2 for me of top weird ass news story of 2023. I'm not sure if you saw this movie called White Noise. Did you watch that flick? It had Greta Gerwig and Adam Driver.
I did see this. Yeah, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
It was not a great flick. It was slow moving. But I watched that on like, I'm going to say like February 12th or something. So then literally the very next day after I watched that movie, there's all these headlines about a fucking train crash in Palestine, Pennsylvania, where a big fucking cloud of toxic smoke comes through.
I remember this because it happened right at the time that the movie was released.
Right at the but not even that. So basically, there's this terrible movie called White Noise about a train disaster. It's a bunch of vinyl chloride. It's a really toxic thing that like gets exposed into this town here. And then all the extras that were in the movie actually had that happen in their town, like literally the day after, right when the movie was released. So they recorded it or whatever, filmed it in 2021. In 2023, the film was released, and then a fucking train disaster happens in their town with a toxic plume that makes them evacuate their house. Like, what are the fucking chances of that?
It's insanely coincidental. You just don't hear of toxic train crashes happening all that often.
No, you don't. And maybe if we started paying attention, maybe they do happen more often. But like the fact that they happen in the town where the fucking movie was filmed about a toxic plane.
The irony.
I don't know. So that was one of my top stories for this year.
All right, Alissa, my next story is just for you. Mwah,
oh, no.
Mwah.
Okay.
September 13th, 2023. Location, Mexico City. I got this from NPR. Mexico's Congress heard testimony from experts who study extraterrestrials on Tuesday. And the hearing started with a huge surprise. Jay Masson, a self-described UFOologist, brought 2 caskets into the congressional chambers. As Masson spoke, 2 men uncovered the caskets to reveal 2 bodies. The corpses looked white and like stereotypical depictions of aliens. Big head, little body, 3 fingers. Masson said they were found in Peru in 2017 in what is described as an algae cave and are estimated to be 1,000 years old. One of the bodies had been pregnant, he claimed. These are not mummies, he said. He's probably not German. Maybe he is. You don't know. These are complete bodies and have not been manipulated. Speaking under oath, Masson claimed the bodies were non-human. Masson and others have presented similar claims about alleged alien remains in the past. Scientists have dismissed them as either ancient Peruvian mummies or manipulated mummies. During Tuesday's hearing, Jose de Jesus, a forensic expert and a military doctor, walked the Congress through scans of the alleged alien bodies. And I will say, I actually watched him describe the scans of the bodies. I just thought it was going to be sort of like one of those, like a pad of paper on an easel, and he's like pointing to different body parts. No, they show the full like innards of these beings.
Like a CT scan or something?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
He claimed the alleged aliens had big brains and big eyes, which allowed for a wide stereoscopic vision. And they lacked teeth, so they likely only drank and did not chew.
Or sucked.
The hearing also included someone I think you've talked about before, Ryan Graves, who's an executive director for the American Safe Aerospace Organization. He's an ex-Navy fighter pilot. Graves was one of the 3 U.S. veterans who testified in front of the U.S. Congressional Subcommittee investigating the existence of UFOs in July. Did you hear about that in July?
Yeah, I actually think I saved one of those articles to talk about today, but I'm not going to anymore.
Interesting note, though. The day after this hearing, Graves decided to distance himself from this interaction. So DNA samples of these aliens had been tested and compared to other samples, which found that 30% of the DNA specimen was quote unquote unknown. And in the x-rays of the alien corpses, eggs were also seen present inside one of the bodies, which also had a rare metal implant. These are like 1,000-year-old Peruvian beings.
I'm grossed out by the eggs, and I'm trying to picture I picture frog eggs. I also picture chicken eggs. And then I'm like, oh, like ovary eggs? I hate that. It's like finding a lobster with like eggs in it.
Or like squishing a spider to discover that it's just filled with baby eggs.
Mm-hmm. Gritty.
It was also claimed that the corpses did not have any lungs or ribs. NASA was asked to comment what they thought about these strange alien beings, and NASA said, "We shall remain neutral until we can get our paws on these aliens and actually like run the scans and stuff ourselves." But have they let NASA have them? No, which is also interesting, right?
Yeah, man.
So, it would be one thing if it was just some UFOologist on a blog being like, look what I found in my backyard. But they went to like the Mexico congressional hearing under oath, showing scans of these little strange, tiny alien bodies.
Do they look kind of like E.T.? Because I'm kind of wondering how these flew under my radar. I think I may have seen pictures, but I never like dug into it.
What's that look like to you? Describe it.
Oh, it's really cute. Hold on. This is not what I was thinking. Oh, he really does look like a stereotypical alien. It also could be a cat.
Well, and then the head is like super elongated in the back. It has, yeah, exactly how you would imagine. What do they call like the gray?
The grays, one of the grays.
The grays, yeah.
It looks like a sculpture. It doesn't look
That's what I was
real.
gonna say. Is it doesn't look very lifelike. It really does kind of look like someone just like carved it out of some clay.
Yeah, or even like it looks like there's like thumbprints on the like like someone molded it out of clay, like Play-Doh.
It does. It does.
Okay, well we'll have to put that in our show notes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely going to post some photos on the show notes this week because I think a lot of ours are visual. All right. What do you got next?
I don't know if y'all heard, but there's been a new sighting of the Loch Ness Monster, and it was captured in the most exciting photos ever seen. And this article comes from the New York Post, and it was published on August 31st, 2023. A sighting of the Loch Ness Monster has resulted in photos being called the most exciting ever by those on the hunt for the fabled creature. The photos, which show a serpent-like animal with its body on the surface of the loch, were actually taken in 2018.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, shit. But photographer Chi Kelly, 51, kept them to herself in fear of public ridicule.
Mm-hmm.
However, now that there's been a large ongoing search for the famed water beast, the largest Loch Ness hunt in 50 years, Kelly, a translator, was convinced to put the photos out into the world. She and her husband Scott were having lunch at the Doris Inn on the banks of the loch in Inverness, Scotland, on August 13th. 2018 when she started to take photos. I was just taking pictures with my Canon camera of Scott and our daughter Alissa, who was 5, when about 200 meters from the shore, moving right to left at a steady speed, was this creature, Kelly told the Telegraph. It was spinning and rolling at times. We never saw a head or neck, but after a couple of minutes, it just disappeared and we never saw it again. While she couldn't get an image clearly showing the beast's length, she estimated the two parts that were visible were less than 2 meters long combined. At first, I wondered if it was an otter or a pair of otters or a seal, but we never saw a head and it never came up again for air. It was making this strange movement on the surface, she told the outlet. We did not hear any sound. There were these strange shapes below the surface. I could not make out any colors. The water was dark. Kelly also said she witnessed the monster moving at steady speed when she photographed the rare moment and shared the snaps with Steve Feltham, who has dedicated over 30 years to searching for Nessy ever since quitting his job and selling his Dorset home in 1991. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely a creature, an animal. And at the time, I did not want to face public ridicule by making the photographs public, said Kelly. She added that she's long believed in the Loch Ness creature's existence, but I don't know what it is. What I saw looked like a serpent. It was definitely a creature, and it was moving. Feltman heralded Kelly's photos as some of the best images he's ever seen. Oh, he's Scottish. Shit.
Oh.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
Oh, the duck.
Scrooge McDuck. That's it. That's all my only reference. These are the most exciting surface pictures I've ever seen. They are exactly the type of pictures I've been waiting to take for 3 decades. It is rare to see something so clear at the surface, Feltham told the Telegraph. Okay, did y'all catch that?
Oh, God. Highlight of my day.
He goes on. I don't know if we're ready for this. Okay, he's very excited. We are lucky the Kellys have decided to go public at last. I've met the Kellys twice and they are absolutely genuine, he continued. I persuaded them that these pictures were so important that they should make them public. They warrant further investigation. It's not driftwood. It is a moving creature and totally unexplained. Meanwhile, the Loch Ness Center and the Loch News Exploration Volunteer Group teamed up to host Quest Weekend last weekend, the latest event in a centuries-long tradition of looking for Nessy. So believers that the fabled creatures are going to be in for a treat when they see these unearthed photos. The monster hunters faced some difficulties in their search, including inclement weather that prevented them from launching heat-seeking drones and forgetting to turn on the recording equipment when the underwater microphones picked up 4 strange sounds.
Oh, my God. I love this so much.
The pictures are vindication of for all the people who believe there is something unexplained about Loch Ness. They are remarkable. I studied them and still do not know what it is, Feltham said. Nessy enthusiasts continue to explore the lake despite not having much success in substantiating their claims, with about 1,148 sightings recorded of the creature, according to the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register. At least 3 sightings have been reported so far this year, after 6 in 2022.
Ooh.
I'm going to describe, there's a picture of like this big shadow, which is pretty cool. But the ones that Kelly took, I'm going to describe what I'm seeing.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's what I want to know.
Okay. So the first picture, you'd think, those are some garbage bags floating in Loch Ness.
For sure.
For sure. And then you zoom in, you're like, okay, maybe that could be like a couple humps of a sea serpent. Actually, maybe it is. But it definitely looks like a half inflated, like, inner tube. Okay. So this is what doesn't jive for me, because looking at what I'm looking at right now, I am seeing the head of a serpent or like some sort of like alligator, more dinosaur-y with a glowing eye.
Oh.
But in the article, they say they didn't get any pictures of the serpent's head, I didn't think.
Interesting.
What to believe?
Okay. Something is in the loch.
Something is in the loch. There's a lot of action going out. I like how they're sending the Loch Ness team.
The highly incompetent team who forgets to press record.
It's bringing to mind both the Scooby-Doo team and also Zissou, right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
Team
Zissou.
Yeah, how they're always recording. So
they're like in their, they've got their headphones on and their little microphone and the red hats. Oh my God.
And they forgot to hit record. I kind of want to go to Loch Ness for like the whole festival and go check it out.
Oh my God. It would be so much fun.
It would be really fun. I wouldn't understand anything anyone's saying. I'm really sorry if I offended anyone with my Scottish accent. I do have some Irish heritage, so that's where that natural brogue, comes from, I think.
They're in your blood. Yes. Well done.
Every so often I get a Scottish red, like eyebrow hair that like really sprouts out.
Oh, I love that. It's like refusing to be contained.
Yeah.
Got to come out.
Yep.
Before I tell my next story, real quick, I want to tell you about a really amazing thing in our merch shop. They're these delightful shirts. I am literally wearing one right now. And it says, "Shadow people are people too." And it has the most incredible illustration on it that you will ever see. It was designed by our friend from Hi, Hello There, Jason, who created this especially for Skeletales. And you can get your own t-shirt on our website. Jason is a Portland-based illustrator who creates lots of hand-drawn art that is then turned into stickers, enamel pins, shirts, and other fun art goods. His main focus is on stuff that Skeletales loves: ghosties, skulls, cryptid, little monsters. His mission is to put art into the world that makes people smile, and it absolutely does. And you'll see with the illustration for these shirts too.
Yay.
Go give him a follow on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube and let him know that Skeletal sent you. You can go see Jason's work at hihellothere.art. Skeletals listeners actually get a special discount of 15% off your entire order. Use code SHADOWPEOPLE that go along with this amazing shirt. Shadow people are people too. Use code SHADOWPEOPLE at checkout. Again, that's hihellothere.art. Are you ready to hear about vampire babies?
Yes.
Great.
Is that a thing?
Buckle the fuck up. This comes to us October 30th, 2023.
All right.
I'm taking you to Poland, PN Poland. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Archaeologists in Poland have uncovered the remains of a 17th century child padlocked to his grave to stop him from rising from the dead. A discovery that turns the spotlight on beliefs in vampires. The bones of a 6 or 7-year-old are the most recent find in a cemetery in the northern village of Pienne, dating from an era that viewed ghosts, zombies, and other supernatural apparitions as more than merely just dress up. Oh, Polish accent. Oh, here we go. This is a cemetery for rejected people who were certainly feared after death, and perhaps also during life, who were suspected of having contacts with unclean forces, people who also behaved differently in some ways. You are secret chip eating during our podcast.
You were looking up my Polish accent. And I've been staring at the potato chips.
You sneaky chip eater. Alissa.
I was trying really hard not to crunch into the microphone. Sorry. Could you hear me?
Where did she go?
I saw you looking. I was like, shit, I'm busted.
Oh, the gig's up. I thought you were truly enjoying my Polish accent, which I've now completely forgotten how to do.
I really was, but I was like amazed how quick of a study you were because I thought it would have taken me longer. I was like, oh, I got a minute to pound the chip. I
chips
didn't, not even one chip, and you started in. So sorry about that.
Where was I? The child was buried face down with a triangular iron padlock under its foot in a probable effort to keep it from sitting up and leaving the grave to feast on the living. These are people who, if was done, I'm German again. Well, you know what? Let's just go with it. If it was done intentionally, were afraid of contact with these people because they might bite and drink their blood. The child's grave was desecrated at some point after burial, and all the bones removed apart from the legs, which were padlocked to the... Oh, geez, I just realized only the legs remain. The top half of the body is gone.
Ugh.
Definitely a zombie baby. Archaeologists have found other methods used to stop the living dead, describing strange practices found in some burials. There were also large numbers of graves with stones, which were supposed to protect against the deceased, placed in various places, such as the elbow, the larynx, or on the neck. So yeah, zombie vampire babies being padlocked to coffins.
I've heard this before. That's horrifying. Like half a zombie like vampire coming at you, like just the top half using its arms to like propel itself is much more horrifying than a regular one.
They only got the feet. The rest of the body's just scraping around up there.
But you probably have a better chance of getting away. So, but like they would definitely be an ankle biting situation. It'd be real horrifying. Like I don't not like that. They could sneak up on you easier because they're like low to the ground.
They are. Yeah.
Not a fan. I have heard about this before. I want to say even in the States, I think a lot of the times it's been like typhoid or tuberculosis or something that they don't understand. They don't understand germ theory or anything like that, right? So they think that these bodies are coming and sickening and hurting and claiming other souls. But really probably every time they dig them up to try to like prevent them from waking, they're just like further contaminating everybody.
Well, I'd heard of when we interviewed Kathy Benjamin on the show, the stones, putting the stones on like their body to like hold them down or prevent them rising from the dead. But being padlocking children to a coffin was new for me. New news.
Yeah, that is next level. I haven't heard about like a padlock per se, but I've heard of like you said, the body's being desecrated after. Like it's obvious they went in afterwards. They flip them over.
Had
they
to
put
be sure.
stakes in them.
Yes.
They put like stones in their mouths and do things like that to try to like prevent them from getting up. I wouldn't say no to a little bell in my little grave there. Beep, beep, diddling, diddling, diddling,
Totally.
to try to like
Yeah, well, attached to the string where you can just be like, alive, ding, ding. Alissa, do you have another news tale for us?
I do, Britt. Okay, so this one came from Fox News, and it says, a Pennsylvania mother of 4 was so spooked by a ghostly image on her security camera that she couldn't sleep, and her family has considered moving to another home. I couldn't get back. Pennsylvania doesn't really have much of an accent. It probably has a little
No.
bit of a nasy accent. Okay. I couldn't get back to sleep. I laid there and turned on the TV because I was scared, Amanda Pitt, 34, told the Mirror. I kept going back to the camera, but I couldn't see it anymore, so I thought maybe I was seeing things. The next morning, I didn't even know what to make of it. Pitt woke up when she heard heavy footsteps in her home at 3:40 a.m. on October 21st. When she looked at the security camera, she saw what appeared to be a ghostly figure standing in the doorway of her kitchen.
Ooh.
I made sure Jeffrey was still in bed because I thought it could be him, Pitt explained. I checked on the camera and stared at it for a little bit because I thought I saw somebody. She woke Jeffrey, her husband, and sent him downstairs to confront the intruder, only to find no one in the home and no sign of a break-in. The family's dog, Ollie, was pacing around the kitchen. Pitt was so shaken by what she saw, she could not go back to sleep and instead watched TV to calm herself down. She kept a screenshot of the figure, but even then continued to check the camera, certain she had just imagined what she saw. This is not the first ghostly incident the family can recall, and the strange occurrences have prompted them to consider moving. Things have happened here before, Pitt said. The people who lived here before didn't live here for very long, but we never found out why. The family moved into the home in 2020, and Pitt has regularly received notifications on her phone from security feed even when no one is home. She said the family also regularly hears strange noises around the house. The first truly bizarre event occurred when the family was out of the house and the security camera recorded a door in the house opening on its own, and another time the kitchen sink turned itself on. I've never been a ghost believer, but we've had things happen that make us question it, Pitt insisted. That picture is terrifying. Thinking there's something like that in your house has you questioning everything. When we first moved in, nothing happened, she continued. It wasn't until we'd been living here for almost a full year and something would happen and we would say it was nothing. We're confused. We just question everything when we hear stuff now. It's not so much living in fear. It's just questioning everything. So the photo that they saw is like a real creepy. It looks like a little old lady. Like, I don't know. Can you see that?
Oh, that's like a for real person.
Yeah, it looks
That's
real
not just a
creepy,
bug
though.
floating in front of the camera.
No. Yeah, exactly. It's not one of those wispy things. No, this is like a
Whoa.
figure, and she's kind of like hunched over with like a distorted face, and then like has like a hand reaching around carrying something with like real like claw-likey
Oh,
fingers, like
that's creepy
long.
as shit.
So imagine seeing this on your little camera while you're upstairs,
You're
and
like
that's
awake and that's
downstairs.
downstairs? No,
No,
thank
no, no, no.
you. Oh,
That was one of my favorites.
good
So,
one.
ooh,
Okay, I have a real short one to finish us off with.
let's hear
This
it.
was written by T.K. Randall, September 28th, 2023. In a bizarre and unnerving story out of Mexico, police officers and fire rescue crews attended the scene of a woman who was trapped down in a well in Saltillo's Nuevo Centro Metropolitano neighborhood on Saturday at around 3:30 in the morning. To confirm that she was all right, officers called down the well to ask her what her name was. Hey, what's your name? Juanita, she repeatedly called back. Juanita, Juanita. It took quite some time, but the rescue team was eventually able to obtain the necessary equipment to lower a fighter down to the bottom of the well to reach her. To their surprise and dismay, however, when they got there, the woman was nowhere to be found. The bizarre case has since prompted a number of paranormal interpretations, with one local investigator suggesting that what the rescue team had heard was the voice of a ghost. Juanita, whoever she was, may have perished in the past by falling down the well. Whatever the case, all that could be ascertained was that she's definitely not down there now.
Is there like a walkie-talkie down there?
Juanita, right? Or a little bird that, like a parrot.
Oh, a parrot.
This was a super fun topic.
It was
A
fun.
lovely bow to wrap up the end of the year of 2023.
Heck yeah. I love a good end of the year recap. That was fun. Really fun. Hey, if y'all think that there was a better story from 2023, please write in and let us know. You can send it to skeletalespodcast@gmail.com, or you can call us on the hotline.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. You can follow us on all of the socials. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Oh, geez, we haven't posted on TikTok in a while. To do. We also have a merch shop where you can get that dope Shadow People Are People 2 t-shirt. That's skeletalespodcast.etsy. Don't forget to also head over to Jason's shop, hihelloThere.art, and check out his amazing illustrations and merch there.
Oh, hey, Britt, there's one more thing.
Yes.
Hold on. Haunt you later.
So rude. Y'all later.
Good night.
Good night.
See you next year.
See you next year.